So welcome to Gabi School. We'll start. Today is the first day for this cohort, WEB02 afternoon. So we'll be starting today. We'll be talking about a couple of things. We'll start with what is Gabi School, what's our mission, vision, and goal, and who's behind Gabi School. So what is Gabi School? Gabi School is an immersive online coding bootcamp designed to take students from knowing zero code to becoming a confident software developer. This school uses the latest technologies such as Zoom, Slack, and custom learning platform to help the students feel like they're in a physical class. Our mission is to become the best place to produce excellent students and leaders. Our vision is to empower students to dream big, become problem solvers, and unlock opportunities for themselves and for the next generation. And our goal is to train you into self-sufficient first-style developer through 16 weeks, that's the full time, through 20 weeks of coding every day. And who's behind? I'm behind Duran Ali. I live in Minnesota. I'm also a founder of several businesses. I'm a developer and also a graduate from a bootcamp. So I know what it feels to go through a bootcamp. I have a wife and 3 kids, 2 girls and 1 boy. I love basketball, technology, and astronomy. And also a while back, I used to live in San Diego. A friend of mine asked me one day, let's go do skydiving. And I was skeptical, and I just tried, and we did it. So I was in shock. So I couldn't even believe it. So it was an interesting time. So let's get down into the more important stuff, which is the rules and the information about the school. The first thing we'll talk about is the attendance. We'll talk about filling out forms. We'll talk about asking for help. We'll talk about something called IWY method. We will also talk about grading. There's also something called weekly assessment. So every week when you do something, we will take an assessment, and you will do a small project that is going to test what you learned that week. We'll talk about quickly the schedule, and also we'll talk about tuition and refund. So the attendance is must for this school. So especially for lectures, if you miss a lecture, it's gonna put you back in a big way. So I will say, whatever you do, do not miss a lecture. Try your best to come to the lecture, and try your best to come to the lecture and watch the lecture. If something comes up and you cannot make to the lecture at all, try your best to watch the lecture later, and I'll share the video. So we usually make sure that students don't miss more than 2 days in a month. After that, they will fall back. It will be really hard to catch up, especially when we reach to the harder parts of the school, somewhere in the middle and at the end. It's going to be really hard. So if you do not watch or catch up with some of the lectures, it's going to be really difficult to catch up with the whole program. So try your best to never miss a lecture. There's also you're going to be filling out a form every day. It's called the daily reflection. This form is to make sure that you finish the homework. It's going to be how you are graded. So, and I'll show you how to do that, inshallah, later on. There's also another form that you will be filling out weekly. So at the end of the week, you'll be taking something called sprint project. It's the weekly assessment basically. And then after that, you'll fill out the form. So those are the 2 frequent forms. And also we're going to be using something called Airtable, which is just a form submission website that you're going to be using. And you can find all the links in the training material. The training material is our student portal, and I sent you the access to that. So you will see that there. So, and I will show you when we finish with this slide. So asking for help. So this program is going to be intense. It's not going to be easy. So I recommend you guys to ask for help as much as you can. You could use something called 20-minute rule, meaning if you are stuck in a problem for more than 20 minutes, try your best to ask for help. You could ask in the help channel in Slack. So there's going to be help channel that I'll be creating, or you could just contact me and ask me the question, and I'll try my best to help you as much as I can. And when you're asking a question, be more specific. Try your best to be clear in your question. So we have something called IWY method, which is at the beginning of the day. So when you come to the class and your period or your course starts, you will be going to the training material, which is the portal. It has a video, it has the text, all that stuff for the lesson for that day. You go ahead and read that and watch it. So that is the I do part. And then we do is we come here to Zoom and I will explain to you guys what you need to know. I'll show you a example of what you're going to do today tomorrow as an assignment. And also we'll go over questions and everything. And then after that, you will do the assignment for that day. So the you do is doing the assignment. We also have a grading system. It's a 1, 2, 3 scale grading system. This grading system is designed so that it keeps track of your accomplishment. So it's not like A or B or something like that, a percentage. So you grade yourself basically when you finish assignment, and you grade it by 1 to 3. 1 meaning you did not meet the expectation. That means you didn't finish the assignment for that day. 2 means you met the expectation, you did the minimum, you did as much as you needed to do, and you passed. And 3 means you exceeded the expectation and you went above and beyond and did extra work. So that's our grading. There's a weekly assessment. We call it sprint projects. So the sprint projects is a weekly, and it happens at the end of the week. So you guys can be a part-time. So it's gonna happen every 2 weeks. So every other week, basically. So when you take a week, and then the week after that, the end of that week, you will have a sprint project. So the sprint project is 4-hour long project, and it's not a group project. So you have to do it yourself. The project is already, we already have the project is in our system. So all you have to do is just sit down, spend that 4 hours and finish it. So you'll be building a project by yourself, and you have to get a 2 in the grading scale, a minimum of 2 to move on. And if you don't do the 2, then you will have opportunity to do it again, but try your best to not do it twice. So make sure you finish that, because it's gonna help you to understand. It's gonna assess what you learned. So otherwise, you will not know where you're at by the end of the 2 weeks. The schedule. So the schedule for the part-time. So this, this is the oldest slide. So the schedule for the part-time is 4 hours every day for 5 days. And then there's going to be a Saturday or Sunday. You guys can decide, but we have to decide one day. And that day, you guys going to be doing more work. So you're going to be starting from the morning, and you're going to be finishing on the afternoon. So that is, that's only if you guys want to do that. If nobody wants to do it on the weekend, then the course is going to be a little bit longer, but you're going to be covering the same. We're going to be covering the same thing. So it's up to you guys if you want to make the course longer or shorter. So 4 hours every day. Every other day there's going to be a lecture. So today is a lecture. Tomorrow is going to be an assignment day. So we're not going to be doing lecture tomorrow. So tomorrow you're going to be doing the assignment. You're going to submit your assignment. You could start it today, because we're going to have enough. We're going to have about 2 hours left. And then you could finish it tomorrow, submit it. And then the day after that, we're going to have a new lecture, and you're going to learn something new. So that's going to be the schedule. And I will also set up a Google calendar. So I'll share that. It's going to take time until I kind of set it up and make sure that you guys get the right schedule, but I'll share it sometime. We're going to be also the tuition. Okay, so the tuition, if you paid upfront all of it, then you if something happens and you cannot continue the school, you will have some refund. But if you pay in monthly, then there is no refund because you just pay it, and then if you cannot come, then you stop paying it. So that's kind of like how the tuition works, and it's in the contract. So if you pay in monthly and something happens and you cannot come, there is no refund. So you can just stop and ask us to pause or cancel the payments, and we will do that. So, but if you pay it in full, then there's some calculation that we have to do, and then give you some of the refund, depending on how far you are in the course. So that's the refund. Let's talk about some of the tools that we're going to be using. We're going to be using every day. We're going to be using Slack. We're going to be using Zoom for lectures and communication. And if you guys need help or anything, we're going to be using Airtable, which is a website. So you're going to be submitting a form there. I'll give you the form. You don't have to sign up or log into Airtable. So you just send the information. We're going to be using the training material, which is a website that we own. So it's a student portal, and the lectures and all the information that you need is located in the training material. And also we're going to be using GitHub, which is a place where you host your code. And the code is already there. So you guys are going to be just grabbing the code, working on it, and then submitting it again. And you're going to learn how to do that in the future. And this is explaining a little bit about Slack. Slack is a communication service. It's a chatting service. So there is no, I mean, they might have a video right now. I'm not sure, but mostly it's just for text. It has channels and things like that. And I can show you guys quickly. Let me, actually, I'll show you in a minute. So let me just talk about it. It's just a communication service. Try to download it in your computer and log in. Make sure to be professional in there. Use your picture, use your profile picture, and also your full name. And also try to ask for help if you need help or anything like that. That's our main communication place. Okay, the next is Zoom. Zoom is what we're using right now, and most of you know. So just be professional. Same. Try, if you can, try to open your camera, your webcam. If you cannot, that's fine. But use your picture and use your full name in Zoom as well. Airtable is going to be a place where you're going to be sending your forms. So you don't need to know a lot about it. I'll show you the form and you just fill out the form. The training material is the main thing. And it's going to be where you're going to be checking every day. You're going to have the curriculum there. There's going to be the lessons. There's going to be your grading is going to show there. Everything is going to be there in the training material. So I'll show you everything about it. You can have videos and also text in there. You are required to log in every day in the training material. One day, for example, the day of the lecture, you're required to kind of read the lesson for that day. And the other days, you're required to log in and go to the assignment for that day and do. So every day you're going to be logging in. So yeah, we expect you to log in 30 minutes before the lecture. From now on, we're going to be starting at 6:30, the lecture. So today is going to be a little bit more, but we're going to be starting 6:30 and we're going to be finishing 8:30 or maybe before that. So that's going to be the schedule for the lecture. So on six, when we reach 6, you're going to go and log into training material, read that lesson for that day, and then after that, 6:30 we're going to start. So by the time we start the lecture, you're going to have some information about what the lecture is about. If you don't have a login there, send me a message. I'll give you the login. I sent the login for some of you, so let me know. And that's it for this slide. Let me show you the training material, which is the main thing. The training material is this website, is tm.gabischool.com. When you log in, this is what it's going to look like. You're not going to have all this stuff, but over time, you're going to have it. You can edit your profile here, but your password and things like that, and your image. It's going to show some information about your cohort and about your personal. It's going to show the attendance. So we take attendance too. So it's going to show the attendance and the feedback and a few other things. There's going to be feedback here. So in case you have a feedback, you'll see it here. But the main thing is on the left side, these sections. So we have 4 sections. And these 4 sections, each section takes about like a month to finish. So and for the part-time, it takes about like a month and a half to finish. So if we open the first one, as you can see, it's divided into 4 sections, and each section is a week. So, or for the part-time is 2 weeks. So HTML, CSS, which is the one we're going to start with, if you open it, as you can see, it shows 5 days. These 5 days, these 5 lessons are for the part-time. This one lesson is going to take 2 days because today and tomorrow you're going to be working on the assignment. If we open it, as you can see, it shows introduction of what this lesson is about. And then for the first lessons, it's going to show video. For the other lessons, I'll be adding more videos to it. This video is a quick video that explains what this assignment is about, what this lesson is about. There's going to be multiple videos sometimes. So also you can see it here. It's going to be a lot of text. There's going to be something that you could play around with. So this is going to be an editor that you could use. And also at the end of it, right here, you're going to see the assignment for that lesson. So this is going to be the assignment. So when the day ends, like tomorrow, you're going to be clicking this, and this is what you're going to be working on tomorrow. So that is the lesson, and we're going to keep going each day, but it's going to be same because all these are same lessons, basically same format. But at the end of it, the last day, which is I talked about the sprint project or the assessment assignment, this is going to be a different thing. So this one is not a lesson. So you're going to be clicking it and you're going to go here. This is called the GitHub. I'll show you guys, I'll teach you what it is and all that. So this is the assignment you're going to be working on by the end of 2 weeks from now. So that's kind of like the format. So when we finish a week, you're going to have a sprint project. And then that's how it's going to be. If you go to the other one, it's the same thing. You're going to finish it. The last day is going to be sprint project. So after you finish this whole section, after you finish all the lessons, there's going to be the last week is going to be build week. The build week is a bigger sprint project, basically. It's going to take a whole week. For the part-time, it's going to take 2 weeks to finish this, but this is going to be a group project. So you're going to be working with other teams. And you're going to take 2 weeks to build let's say an application or a website. So this is a bigger assessment to see if you actually understood this whole section and if you actually apply it, what you learned. So, and the other sections are the same. So you're going to do three weeks here. The last week is going to be build week, except the last section, which is different. The last section is going to be, all of it is going to be assessment, except for the last week. The first 3 weeks is going to be a bigger project that you're going to be building, and it's going to take 3 weeks to finish this project. So you're going to be spending a lot of time with other teams, with other students, building applications and projects. So that is the curriculum for the school. And this here is the forms that I was talking about. You have several forms, but the main one is the daily reflection. This one is located in Airtable, and it's basically you fill it out every time you finish an assignment. So this is going to be every other day. It says daily, but this also for the full time. But it's every other day. You're going to pick your name here. These are all the students that we already have. you're gonna pick your name here. If you don't have, if your name is not in here, let me know. I'll add it quickly. You're gonna choose the assignment for that day. So then the common assignment is the first one. You're gonna put the link here. So the link is gonna be the assignment I showed you. So if we go to the first lesson, go all the way down, click this link, and you will see that this is the assignment. This is CodeBin. So you have to create an account in CodeBin here, codebin.io. Then you're going to be forking this. So at the bottom here, you'll see something called fork. Fork means just copy these files for me to my account. Otherwise, if you do changes here and you try to save it, there's not going to be a save button because this is not your file. This is the Gabi School file. So, and I'll talk about this in a little bit at the end. What else? So that's going to be the form. So you're going to be sharing that link. So copy this link. I mean, it's going to be your link by the time you fork it. You're going to paste it there. You're going to use your cohort. You're going to choose your cohort here. It's going to be the WEB02 afternoon. And then you're going to grade yourself. Remember, we talked about the grading system that we have. So you assess yourself. So basically, you tell us what do you think your assignment is. Is it 1? Is it 2? Did it meet expectation? Or did you go above and beyond? Then you choose that. So most students choose 2. And then here you just talk about the feedback. You talk about basically what obstacles you had finishing the assignment. Did you learn something new? Anything you want to communicate with us. If you were struggling with something, if you had a hard time with the lecture, any feedback that you want to give us, you could put it here. And you could also leave it empty if you want. It's optional, and then you submit it. So that's going to be how you finish each assignment. After you finish, you submit this form and you're done. There's going to be a few other forms. So this is going to be the sprint reflection. This is the weekly one. So every time you finish the weekly sprint project, you're going to fill out this form. And then there's build week 1. So that's going to be when you finish the build week. There's also general feedback. If you want to give us general feedback, and it's anonymous. So if you want to share something with us, that'd be great. There's important links. These links are actually important. The first one is the student guide. The student guide is where you find all your answers. So any question you have about the school, how the school operates, what do you need to do, anything that the school is doing can be found here. So everything we have wrote down, almost everything that we could think of, and it's divided into sections. So this is going to be the student corner. This is going to be schedule, curriculum, support, community. There's going to be something called student lead program. We don't have it right now. We're planning to make it happen. There's the build week. So if you want to know a lot about the build week, core tracks, there's going to be the tracks that we have right now. We have this track, but we're going to be adding more tracks. Basically, the different things that we're teaching. We encourage students to start like a blog, especially like toward the end, the last section. We encourage students to start a blog and write down what they, or record if you want, about their experience and like what they're learning and things like that, basically to create let's say a journey for themselves. And a couple other things, courier, a couple of links about the courier, and more support here. Yeah, so this is going to be the student guide, everything you need to know about the school. This is the schedule. These schedules are not 100% right now. I'm still working on them, so I will let you know when they're finished. And this is going to be a Google schedule, Google Calendar. So this was the full time. I'll share with you when that's finished. So that is that. This is the student portal. This is the training material. So this is your home. This is where you're going to be all the time. What else did I talk about? Let me see if I missed anything. So that And GitHub, we'll talk about GitHub in other times. You guys going to be learning what it is and how to use it and all that. Okay, let's see. So that was generally like the introduction to the school. Actually, I didn't show you Slack. So this is Slack. Mine is in a dark mode, but you could make it light, whatever color you want. You're gonna have this is your channel. You're gonna have the students here. You're gonna be communicating here. We're gonna have another channel called WEB02 afternoon help, and you could use that to seek help if you like, or you could just post it here if you have any question or anything like that. So this is gonna be our main communication place. And every day and every other day when we do a lecture, I'll share the link here. So the Zoom link. So make sure to not turn off your notification. Otherwise you're gonna miss it. So that's a Slack. Okay. So I gave you guys a lot of information. Any questions? Then we're gonna take a break. And then we're gonna start the HTML part of today's lecture. Any questions so far?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Or at least not for me, at least.
Okay. Hopefully you guys grasp how the school kind of operates and how it works. I'll try my best to answer questions you guys have later on. Send me any questions you have. So after this, we'll start with the HTML, and I'll give you an introduction to HTML, what it is, what it's used for, and then I'll give you your assignment. And you could start today, or you could do tomorrow. You have 4 hours tomorrow to do it, so you're gonna have plenty of time. So we'll take a 10-minute break, and then we'll be back, inshallah.
Quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So for the ones that or at least I haven't signed up for, which is like the TM
Training
username, password, and stuff like that, and the other, yeah, this page. Do I need to log in somewhere for that?
Yeah, so I think I sent you the login. Let me see.
You did, I thought, through Slack, right?
Yeah, through Slack. So, and I sent you the link. So you go to that link, and then just log in with the information I gave you, and you could also change your password too. Yeah. So that's gonna be where you're gonna have all the, even if we don't have, like, let's say maybe one day a lecture, I might ask you to go to the lesson and read it and watch it, and then try your best, and then we can do review another day. So sometimes something, if emergency happens, then here's where you're gonna be learning from. But that rarely happens. Okay. All right, I'll see you guys in 10 minutes, inshallah.
Please leave your message.
Okay, let's get back to it. All right. So can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Okay, good,
I
good,
can
good, good.
hear.
All right. So we'll start with the HTML.
Yep,
We're
I
gonna
can
go.
hear you.
Oh, that's good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So let's start with let's start with this slide. So what is HTML? So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it's not a programming language. It was created by a man called Tim Berners-Lee in 1993. And he also proposed this language even before that. In a little bit of background about this man, he used to work at CERN, which is a laboratory in France, I think, right now. It's one of the big laboratories, science laboratories in the world. So back in like 80s, he used to work there, and one of the problems was the scientists, when they come to that place and they bring their like studies on what they did, they used to bring different type of documents in the computer. So there was no way. You have to find a bigger computer, like a one of the IBM computers, to kind of decode their documents. So he proposed a universal document. That's when he created something called HTML. And HTML is in every website. So if you go to any website in the world, it has HTML in it, and HTML is like the structure of the website, like the building blocks of the website. So is basically common for all websites to have HTML. So HTML has an ending extension of that HTML, and it also went through several versions throughout the time since 1993, and now it's HTML5, so it's version 5. So this is kind of like the structure of HTML. As you can see, the first element is you have to write it like that with this angle bracket, and then HTML. And then at the bottom, you have to close it. So this is how you close it, angle bracket / and then HTML. And inside it, you use different tags to identify for different things. For example, there's a tag called head, and it has a closing head here. This head is where you put like the title of the website, like different things for the website. So this you usually don't see this on the browser. It's hidden, but it's for like for the website, like a meta tag and things like that. What people usually see is the body. The body has all the things you need for a website. So it has, for example, H1 tag, which is a title tag. Let's say if you go to any news website like CNN, the biggest title is, for example, H1. There's a P, which stands for paragraph, and then there's, you could add money tags inside here. And inside the body is where people see when they visit a website. This is kind of like the anatomy of a single element in HTML. You start with a opening tag. For example, the paragraph, you start with this B with the two angle brackets, and then you put the content in the middle, and then you have a closing tag always. And always you have to have that slash to add to the closing tag. There are a few tags that don't have a closing tag. They're called self-enclosed. So there are very few. There's about like 3 of them, I think. So we will see those too. These are some of the most common tags in HTML. The first tag is H1. It goes all the way to H6. This is a title. So for example, I talked about CNN. The biggest title is H1. And then you have H2, H3, and you have smaller titles. Paragraph, P stands for paragraph. It's just a block of text. A stands for anchor. This is used to create a link. So if you want to create a link on a website, you use A. And also you use a attribute called source, and we will see that as an example. Not source. You will use an attribute called href, which defines the actual link that you want to click. There's a div tag, which is stands for division. It's a section of the website, basically. It's very generic. It doesn't have any definition. It's basically if you want to create a section of a website and you want to put things together, you put inside the div. There's image. As I assume, image is for the images. So if you want to add an image to your website, you have to use the image tag, and it has the source attribute. And the source attribute basically is that where that image is located. So if it's located in another website or inside your files, you have to define exactly where that image is located. There's UL and OL tags. These are used to create a list. So for example, if you want to create a list with no order and it has just black dots, then you will use UL. And this is similar to, for example, a Microsoft Word document. So if you have a Microsoft Word document, then you could create a list, you can make things bold, you could, do different things with your text and things like that. So it's similar to that. There's a span. Span is a generic text section. So if you want to create a generic text section, you use a span, but it's also specifically used for something called inline that you will learn later on. So for example, if you want to use paragraph takes the whole page. So once you create one paragraph, it takes the whole screen, and it doesn't, even if you put like a one word, then that one word will basically take the whole line. And if you put something right underneath it, it will fill out the whole thing. So paragraph, that's, it's called blocked section or block element, and then a span is called inline element. It doesn't take the whole page. So that's the basic difference, and we'll see examples of this. We'll also learn something called semantic HTML. Semantic HTML basically is basically a way to define your code. In HTML, we have these elements. So we have seen the paragraph and H1. We also have header, nav, section, article, aside, and footer. And as you could imagine, this is like a website, right? So as you can see, this is the header. This could be like the logo and different things on the top of the website. This is nav, stands for navigation. This is like the different links for the website. A section is a section of the website. Article is if you want to create a section for articles. Aside is like the sidebar for the website, and the footer is the footer of the website. So the reason why these elements actually exist is because when, let's say there is like someone who cannot see and they're using a device, their phone or other devices, to browse your website. A lot of times, most of the devices are already programmed to look for a header, nav, all this, and tell the person, oh, this is the header section, this is the navigation section, all that. Otherwise, you have to define exactly in your text what it is. And also in Google, when Google is coming to your website. So every website you create, Google goes to your website. They use some code to kind of check your website and see what's about, and then index. They take your website and put it in a file, let's say in a virtual file, where they say, okay, this website is about, let's say tourism, okay, and then they put you in the tourism section of their database. So, and the way they know it is because by these tags. So they check the header and they say, okay, what is the header? What is the navigation? They already know where to go. If you don't define this, still they will figure it out, but it's better to make it easier for them. So that's enough for the slide. Let us go to CodeBen and do some coding. So we're gonna go here, and CodeBen is a website, and I'll share with you guys. CodeBen is a website where you can sign up for an account. We're gonna be using, I'm gonna be using most of the time. You guys gonna be doing with this. Only this assignment is gonna be done for you. You're gonna be doing this assignment with CodeBen, but from here on, you're gonna be doing it in your computer. So it's better to make account there to do this assignment. Otherwise, not this assignment, this is the lecture, but the assignment coming up, you have to do it in CodeBin, which is right here, actually. This is the assignment you're going to be doing. So CodeBin has the different sections. It has the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. And before I do this, let me show you example of HTML in real world. So let's go to our website, gabischool.com. This is our website, the usual website. If you right click it and go to inspect here, if you're using Chrome, and most of the browsers have this inspect, you will see that you will see the HTML code here. So this is a lot of HTML code. You could also right click and click view page source. This is going to be the code for the whole website. In general, like the code that's facing the person, there's a code that's hidden, especially because of safety and like you don't want people to see that code. But as you can see, this is a lot of HTML. There are some few JavaScript here, but I showed you, remember I showed you the HTML tag. It's right there. The first HTML tag is right here. There's few other information here. So this is just extra stuff. As you can see here, there's a header, and there's a lot of information in the header, as you can see here. And also even this JavaScript is in the header. All these links are in the header. Keep going, all the way to where the header ends, which is, keeps going, which is right here. So all this stuff is in the header. And as you can see, this is the closing tag of the header. And now, as you can see, this is the body. So we learned the body right here. I showed you how the body looks like. So this is the body, and that's the body right here. So the body, if you go all the way down, it ends at the bottom, most of it, right there. That's where it ends. And inside it, there's a bunch of stuff. So that's usually how HTML pages are set up. And it doesn't matter which website you go to, like it doesn't matter. You could go to any website, it has that same style. If you go to, let's say, something like some of the most complicated websites might not have like clean styling of HTML, but majority of the websites, 99% of websites have this style of HTML. So that's how important HTML is. So let's see an example of how we set up an HTML document or HTML website. So this is just a comment that I put in here, but we're going to start from here. So we're going to style this text and this image and all this, and we're going to give it a structure using HTML and using the HTML semantic that we learned. So we're going to start with the HTML, and inside here, the code bin, we don't have to do this. We don't have to set up the HTML and the header. The reason for that is because CodeBin already set up that stuff for you, so you don't have to worry about. But for this lesson, I'm going to show you how to do that. So we'll start with the HTML. We do here header, and I mean head. Inside it, we're going to do the title, and you have to close all this. So we're going to do title here. We're going to call it international airport. And we have to close the title here. And also close the head before we go anywhere. Head. And now we have to close the HTML. So you have to go all the way down of the document and then close that HTML. Let's add body. So right after the head, you have to add a body here. And this is the body of the website. Imagine HTML is like a person. So you have the head and then you have the body here. So the body is everything that a person sees. And right before the HTML, we close the body. Okay. And that is our page, our website. It doesn't look good because we didn't even do anything right now. We just built the structure of it. We didn't add any styling. To get started, we will start with, we'll put everything in one div. This helps the website be in one box. So a lot of times you don't have to, but it's a good practice to put everything in one div. So we're going to put that in div, and all the way down here, we're going to create another div. And later on, when you learn CSS, which is how to style a website, how to make it look nice. You're going to be using this div to make the website certain way, basically to make it either smaller or wider or things like that. So the international airport is the main title of the website. This is like the logo, let's say. So this is going to go in header. So remember in semantic HTML, we learned here, we have header here. So we're going to put the logo, we're going to put the logo in header. It's right there. And you can put this, let's put this H1 because it's the biggest thing that we want to have on the website. I mean, H1. So everything you write, you have to close it. Otherwise, it will not work, except one or two things. And I'll show you that. Do the header. That's closed. This is our navigation. So home, about, flight. As you can see here, the international became really big, international airport. That's because we used H1 here. So this is our navigation. So we're going to put this nav. And we're going to close the nav here. And it's good to indent things like that. So it's easier to know if it's, is inside the nav or outside the nav, things like that. So each one of these becomes a link. So how do we create a link? If we go back to the tags that we had right here, we use the A tag, anchor. So let's do that. So we're gonna put A here, but we need an attribute. The attribute is when the person clicks the link, where do they go to? And that attribute is called href, and that's how you do it. And href is the location where you will go when you click. And it's really important. Otherwise, the link will not work. So in here, we're going to put a hashtag, and that is basically saying don't go anywhere. But otherwise, it will be something like /home, or it would be like HTTPS or HTTP, something like gabischool.com/home, something like that. Otherwise. So, but for now, we're not doing any linking. So we're just going to do that. And also you have to use you have to close the A tag, right? Like that. So now if you go to here, you can see home is a link. So you could click it. It's not going to do anything, but you could click it. So that's exciting. So we have to do each one of them. We have to do the same thing. So I'm just going to copy this, paste it here, and also paste here, and then paste here. And then also closing tag for each one of them. Just like that. If you don't close it, let's not close the last one. What happens is everything after that becomes a link. So you see all this text and all this stuff becomes a link. So you have to close every time, right? So now only these names are linked, the navigations. After that, we have an image. So we have an image here. So this image starts with img. The tag is already here. It has an attribute called src, stands for source. And this is the source of the link of the image, this image. So this is where this image is located. Sometimes you might have something like if you have the image in, let's say, in your computer, you might have something like this, images/airport.jpg, something like that right here. But right now we're in here, so it's not going to show. We're not in our computer. So you have to give the whole website where the image is located. Images usually have .bng or .jpg or something like that. Keep that in mind. Another thing you need to have is alt. Alt stands for alternative. This is basically if the image does not show. Let's mess up with this image, and let's not show it. So if we remove it, now it's going to show this little thing, and if you hover over it, hopefully it works. It doesn't work here, but if you hover over it, usually, or next to it, it shows, actually, yeah, it shows here, airport taken off tech enough. So if we change this to yeah, airplane, I mean not airport. If we change that to something else, let's say first class or something like that, just so that we know, you will see that that text changes first class, and this is different text. So this is to identify if the image does not show, basically. So that's the image. And image is one of the tags that is self-closing. So there's no slash image here, as you can see. That will not work. So this is self-closing. So you just put a angle bracket at the end. So that's the image. Next thing we need to do is we need to change the fly, and this is a section. So we have to put a section inside. We have to create a section. And remember, if we go back to our semantic HTML, we have a section here. So we use a section for this, and this is going to be a paragraph. Of course, it's going to be a title for this section. So let's create a section. And we're going to go all the way down to this part. I think that's this is where the section ends. You could decide where the section ends. It depends on how you wanna put together your website. But it's just, you know, this is not a rule. This is basically what do you think is best. This is going to be H2. Remember, we already used H1. You could still use H1 here, but the recommendation is that it's not good to use H1, multiple H1s in the website. It will confuse people. So just if you have a main title, make it H1. Then after that, the other titles should be a little bit smaller than that title. As you can see, this is H1 and this is H2. And here is a paragraph. So we're going to put a paragraph B. It's not going to do any difference. It's just a way to keep it organized. So let's do that too. Okay, so we finished this section. As you can see, it's a little bit more organized now, this whole section, except this. So we organized this section. Now, this one, book a flight, is a button, right? So we need to create a button element. There are a lot of elements in HTML. So, and I can share a link with you guys if you want, but there's a lot of tags. So one of them is button, and this is going to create a basic button for us, /button. And you will see this a lot in like forms. As you can see here, we have a basic button here. We could click. And let's put this section, another section tag, go all the way down here. It's going to end here. So let's put section. This is going to be another H2. A lot of times, if you have a similar titles, it's best to give it a similar tags, so people already know what to expect. All right, so let's do that. This is going to be another paragraph. And that's it for the paragraph. Closing paragraph tag. All right, so if we go back to our website, as you can see, we have a button. We have two sections, fly with us, plan your flight. We have two paragraphs here. You could make it one if you want. And then we have this image. So as you can see here, we have another image. You already know the image and the source, but one more thing is the width. So you could add a size to an image. So you could use a width. This means 500 pixels. We can make it bigger. Let's say maybe 800 pixels. And as you see, the picture is much bigger now. Also, you could add a height here, but it's already, you could put 100% the height, and that will make the image fit the whole page, basically, starting from where it is. But usually the height is automatic. So if you have a width, you could leave the height if you want. And the last one is the footer. So this is going to be the footer. If we go back, so we have the footer here. So let's do that. So we're going to say footer. This is an actual tag in HTML, so you could use that. Footer. So what's inside here is just the navigation that we already set up. So it's right here. So let's just copy these links and just put them right here instead of these. So if we go to the page, you will see that we have a footer right here at the bottom, and we have everything set up for us. Now the only thing missing is styling, and then we will learn that in the next lecture. But that's the main. That's kind of like in general. That's how you set up a HTML page. We can also go over how to add a list. So if you want to add a unordered list, let's say, which is a list that doesn't have an order, then you say UL. That's unordered. It stands for unordered list, and you have to close the UL here. Closing UL. Inside it, you have to add each item. So if you want to add each item, you have to use LI. So that stands for list item. So this is each item. So let's say here, something like different places. Let's put here a title, and we could put here a section too. So let's create a section for the list. You don't have to, but it's good to organize your website. Section, and then let's put a small title here, H2. Let's call this locations. H2. So this is going to be the locations. So LI stands for list item. So you have to put the items here. So let's say something like Minneapolis, LI. And here, let's say LI, let's say San Diego, LI. And here, let's say LI, Nairobi. Okay, so this is going to be a list. So now if we render it, and it's going to automatically render. If we go down, you will see that we have locations and we have a list of places. And this is going to give it a dot because it's unordered. Let's say we need an ordered list. So maybe we have like best places to visit. So let's copy this section and go down here and call this section, let's call this section best places to visit, and change this to OL, stands for ordered list, but the rest is going to be same. The LI is going to be same. Best places, let's say something like Canada, let's say something like Minnesota, and here let's say New York or something like that. Okay, so let's save. It's already saved, so go down, and as you can see, best place to visit 1, 2, 3. So it's an ordered list. You usually use it for if you want to rank something or something like that. So that is an ordered list. Let's see if we missed anything here. So we talked about all this. We talked about image, span. Okay, let's talk about span. So I'll show you the difference between a span and a paragraph. So let's just start with here, the first section that we created. Let's actually remove all this text and keep one, and let's use only like one word, okay, like lorem, okay, and remove even the comma. If we go down here, you'll see lorem takes the whole page here. Let's say we add something here. Say we add right after here, we added, let's say, another paragraph, right? So, and we said something like test, right? And we close the paragraph. So here you're expecting all this to be in one line because there's enough space for this lorem and test to fit in that. But as you can see here, lorem is one line, test is one line. That the reason for that is because a paragraph is a block element, meaning it has to take the whole line. It's not going to give you a space. But let's create a span. So the difference between a span and a paragraph is this. So let's create a span here. Let's put the same thing, lorem, and then close the span. All right. So now it's going to be the same because we can have a lorem here, but let's put another span right next to it. Span, not spam. Let's say test. Okay. Or let's say test2. Closing span. Let's go back to it. As you can see, it's in the same line. So lorem and test the same line, but the paragraph does not allow you to have same line. So that is the only difference between paragraph and span. The span is very friendly. It allows you to have, it allows you to use the same line, and you can kind of like manipulate it that way. A lot of times it's used for like, let's say this title, you want this section to be a different color. You put here spam. Why am I saying spam? Span. So you say something like span, and here you say another span. And then you target this section and you can make it a different color. And then it will not move this part at the bottom. But H2, all these headers and also paragraph, they're all block, and you will learn that later on in CSS. And they don't allow you to put something in the same line. So span, that's why span is really important. Okay, I think we covered almost everything we need to cover today. Any questions so far? Any questions? Anything you're confused about today's lesson?
I think you got it pretty well covered. Just the it took me a little while because I was confused at first.
Yeah.
The, opening and closing stuff.
I
This whole
know.
thing's new, but I kind of got the idea because everything has an opening and an ending. So
Yep.
and the only difference is that the ending you just use a slash, correct?
Slash. Yep. That's it. So if you
Okay.
open something, other than just the image, other than that, and I think there is, I think the link. No, the link is fine too. The link you have to close it too. Other than the image so far, everything else has a closing. Right? Everything else has a closing, and you could use this as a reference. I can share the link. So use this as a reference when you're doing your assignment. I'll share it here. The assignment is going to be same. Any other questions? All right.
So
Go ahead.
my question is the one that you were just doing, right?
Mhm.
I didn't do this one, so can I do it later? And do I have to do like the same thing that you just did? Is that going to be the assignment?
So the assignment is going to be, I was going to go into it. It's going to be this one. It's going to be another thing. It's called Fatima
Okay.
Restaurant. So
Okay.
you're going to be doing similar things. As you can see here, I kind of like laid out for you.
Okay.
So this is going to be the name of the website. You can have navigation, header, and a couple other things. You don't even have an image or anything like that here. So
Mhm.
this is going to be the assignment. It's very similar to the lesson we went through, which is this international airport, but the layout is going to be similar. And you're going to have the rest of today, which ends at 10 today, and you're going to have tomorrow from 6 to 10 to do it. So there's not going to be a lecture tomorrow. So you have a lot of time to do it. And also, you could do it any time of the day. You could do it in the morning, whenever you have a time. And also, I'm available almost all the time. So other than just when after 10 p.m. At night, I'm available from I'm available after 11 a.m. in the morning all the way to 10 p.m. at night. So anytime you can message me, and I'll try my best to reply to you.
Okay.
But yeah, so the assignment. So let me go through basically what you're gonna do, how you're gonna set up your assignment. So right when you finish right now, go ahead, go to codebin.io. I shared the link. Create an account. After you create an account, go back to Slack and click this link I'm sharing right now, which is the assignment. And also this link is in here. So it's in the first lesson that we learned today, which is this one. And if you go to all the way down, you'll see that link right here, bottom restaurant. And every assignment is always at the bottom of that day's lesson. Click that. And then after you come here, before you do anything, if your name is not right there, this means this is not your document. You cannot make changes to this. So go ahead. This is like a Google document that I sent you basically. And you have to kind of like copy it or something for it to be yours. So you click fork here at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that. Fork basically is copy everything for me automatically. So it will just take all these files and everything on your own account, and then your name is going to show right here. And then after that, you can have this save button. Before that, you're not going to have the save button. If Gabi School is right here, you're not going to have a save button. So once you do some changes, then it will not allow you. For example, let's actually log out right now. So let's go back to the same. Now I'm not logged in. There's no save button. Let me do some changes here. Let me just do something like that here. And there's no way to save it now. I mean, you can see the changes here. That's what I did. But there's no way to save it because if I refresh it, it's gonna ask you, hey, the warning, refresh. It went back to the way it was. So you have to fork it. You have to fork it for you to make changes. When you click fork, it asks you to log in. If you're already logged in, it will just copy everything for you, and your name is going to show right there. Your name is, you're going to see your name there. Then you could start working on it. After you finish it and you see the changes here and it looks nice the way you want it, copy this link, go to the training material, go to forms, go to daily reflection, and fill out this form. Choose your name, choose your the assignment for that day, which is the first one for today. Cohort is your WEB02 afternoon. Grade yourself. So if you did good and you finished the assignment, click 2. If you added other things like images and things like that and made it much better, then you could go to 3. You could write something here if you want or not. You could paste the link here and then submit, and you're done. That's it. That's your assignment. And then you just wait that next day for the next lesson. So that's kind of like the routine. Basically, we do a lecture. You go ahead and do the assignment. If you have any question, you go to Slack. You send me a message privately or here, and then I'll answer your question. And then after that, we go from there. So, any questions?
CodePen is always going where you do the assignment, right?
So CodePen is going to be what are you going to do with I think this assignment only. So it's going to be only this assignment,
Okay.
or maybe the next assignment. So it's going to be 1 or 2 assignments, and then after that we're going to ditch CodePen. I'm going to be doing the lessons in CodePen myself, the lecture, but for you, I want you to practice like a developer routine, basically. CodeBin is for like a person who doesn't want to deal with like setting up your computer for like a code and how to do code in your computer. It's for like a person who just comes in and write down HTML and CSS, some JavaScript, and be done with it. But for you, I want you to practice your actual coding. So we will be going to GitHub. You're going to be seeing. So if you go to the next lesson, actually, let's just go to here. The next lesson is going to be Introduction to CSS. As you can see, you're going to be learning something called GitHub. It's going to be kind of like a action-packed kind of a lecture. So today's lecture was kind of easier. And if you go all the way down to the assignment, as you can see here, if you click it, it will take you to GitHub. So no more CodeBin after that.
Okay.
And you're gonna learn in this lecture, in this assignment, in this lesson, day 2, you're going to be learning how to use GitHub, how to copy things, how to upload things to GitHub, all that stuff. So one step at a time. And you don't have to, I mean, if you want to look at the other assignments, you can, but I recommend you usually to kind of like be in the presence and focus on like the one you have. And then after that, go to the next one, and then that's how, before you know it, you're going to be looking back and saying, wow, I learned a lot. So it you know, it's hard, but it's also process and on a journey to learn all this stuff. Yeah. Any other questions?
Not yet, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The assignment,
Let me,
a lot of questions.
sure. let me know when you guys start the assignment. If you have any question anytime, I'm open. And I think, Mohammed, I would recommend you to go to the morning group, and then Fatima, inshallah, I'll figure out something, and we will I'll put you to a group, or we will bring more people to this group, inshallah. We'll move things around. The school is kind of in flux all the time. Since we started February, the whole school started in February. Now we have the oldest group is like 2 months plus. So they are all the way to here right now, the first group. They're finishing section 2. So they're right here, the first group. So yeah, we'll move things around, but 100% you guys going to be taken care of. And I'm going to be here for you anytime. So no worries, inshallah. And you're
Is there another class in like maybe the early morning?
So the early morning around what time? Like 8 or 9?
Yeah, like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Right now there's no class, but we're planning to start. We're changing the way we kind of like bring groups to the school. Before it was like we have to choose a whole cohort. Right now we're gonna be starting a smaller groups. So I'll find a class that starts early for you. In April this month, we're gonna do a lot of changes, and those changes are gonna help students so that they can find what time works for them. So I'll find something for you that fits your time, either early in the morning or late afternoon, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah.
The one you recommended for me, you said that one starts at 11, right?
11, yeah, 11. So that group just did they just finished this lesson that you guys doing right now. So they submitted it today. So inshallah you will catch up. I'll find a way for you to catch up with them. And I would recommend that because there is a lot of things that are happening over there. There's a lot of students, so you're gonna find a lot of support there, especially if you have the time for the morning. So that the morning is a lot of people are doing a lot of things, so I would recommend that one. But yeah, inshallah, let me know if you guys have any question anytime, and this is gonna be the style.
Are they meeting up tomorrow for the morning one?
Yeah, they're gonna be meeting up tomorrow. So
for a lecture or just the class?
For lecture 2.
Okay.
So they're gonna be doing lecture 2 tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Okay. I'll try to do what I can
Yeah.
as far as to understand and do the assignment.
All right, inshallah, no problem.
So there are no other people that want afternoon classes?
Right now I have few people that want afternoon classes. I have class that is a little bit ahead of you guys, few lessons, but I'm hoping a couple of students actually wanted to come to this group, but they kind of like have issues and stuff. I had like 4 students contact me for different issues. So inshallah we'll figure out a group. If not, I'll figure out a newer group for you that's starting around like mid this month, around like April 15. I'll find that group for you.
Okay, so in the meantime I can just be in this class, right?
Yeah, meantime you're gonna be doing like this, inshallah, no problem.
Okay.
All right. Okay, if there's no other question, inshallah we'll conclude here. I'll share the video for this lecture. You have the video, you have the reference for today's lesson we did, all that stuff, and the assignment is due tomorrow tomorrow afternoon, inshallah. Tomorrow night. So
The video will be on Slack.
yeah, I'll share it on Slack. Yeah, I'll put it on
Okay.
YouTube, and then it's gonna be private, and then I'll share it on Slack.
Thank you, brother.
No problem. Inshallah. Take care, guys. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.